welcome to another episode of Spotlight on Stage, where we shine a light on theatre across Greater Manchester. I'm Michelle Eagleton, I'm the arts and culture correspondent at I Love Manchester, and if you love theatre as much as I do, you are in the right place. We love to tell you the latest news from the theatre world, have a bit of a gossip with stars from the stage and behind the scenes, and of course, we give you the up to date guide of what's on at theatres across Greater Manchester this very week. Are we ready to start the show? Well, yes, I hope so, because we have got a great guest for you. He is currently starring in Jock Night, which opens tomorrow at Hope Mill Theatre. Now, this is a comedy drama. It is fresh from London. It has returned to Manchester, its home, and it is written by the wonderful Adam Zane. Now, this version has been extended. It is a wild, raucous party. It is a very saucy in parts, very funny, and it has plenty of drama as well. Well, I caught up with James Colebrook, who plays one of the characters, Russell, in Jock Night, to tell me a little bit more about it.
It's absolutely exciting. The story itself is something that tackles some really dark issues, but also there's a lot of fun within that as well. So there's a lot of light and shade to play with, and it's a story that is really universal to certain communities in the LGBTQ plus communities as well. So it's a really exciting thing to be a part of, and a really tough story to tell, but sometimes some stories do need to be tough.
Yeah, and it opens conversations, I think, when you see stories like this that are
Mm,
played out in a different way on stage. Tell
exactly.
us a little bit about your character then and how he fits into the story.
So I played the role of Russell. Russell is literally described in the script as a gym bunny. Um, and I go one step further in calling him a himbo as well. So for listeners that don't know what that means, that is a male bimbo, basically. So you
I
can
love it. Are there any bits of yourself in that, James?
I might be typecast a tiny bit, but that's okay. I know what I'm selling, and that is okay. Um, Russell is someone who kind of I sort of like goes along with everything. He's completely in love with his best friend, and he will do anything to please him. And for anyone actually across the group of guys, for everyone to have a good time. I don't think he doesn't like conflict or drama to that degree. So he always tries to keep everything light and fun. And he has a lovely arc, and it's a really lovely thing for me as an actor to play. Not going to spoil anything, but there is obviously some twists and turns throughout the plot that are really excited for me to get my nails and my claws deep into.
But there's this different characters, isn't it? And they're all kind of dealing with their own issues and their own kind of relationships. And what I really like about this, though, is it is set in Manchester. You know, it's Canal Street, and so to have it at Hope Mill Theatre just seems so perfect.
It couldn't be more perfect. It's the perfect setting in, and I think having it starting it in Manchester where it's set will be a really powerful thing for the community and for people to go watch and for people to talk about and learn. It's really educational. Like this story tackles things that I didn't really know before, but it's really opened my eyes to what other people are going through at any other point in time. So I think it's a really good way just to get your thought process into a different person's psyche, and how, even though you may not actively contribute into that sort of part of the world, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean that it's not a problem or an issue. So it allows you to open your scope, I believe.
And it does that through kind of, the beautiful writing that Adam has done here. And also, I think there's funny bits that kind of alleviate some of those moments. I mean, the fact that one of the characters is obsessed with Victoria Wood, right? And we've got a We've got a bit of Corrie Barbara Knox in there and a little bit of a fandom going on. It's great.
The show it's educational, it's hard hitting, it has its moments of darkness and sadness, but uh, throughout all that, there is that comedy, there is that warmth that these people do generally care for each other. They are generally friends and love each other. And amongst the hot raunchiness, there is so much heart. And it's almost similar to, well, not similar in one sense of like Friends. You watch that show and you go, oh, I know one of those people. I know, there's everyone in that cast is relatable to someone in some degree, and everyone can see themselves in some form on that stage. And I think that's beautiful.
And are you having a great time together as a cast? I know you're rehearsing at the moment because you'll be opening very soon.
Everyone's lovely. It's such a lovely rehearsal space, and for Adam to direct, he's letting us, because it's not the first time this has happened, but what's beautiful as him as a director is that he's letting us find our own interpretation or our own movements, our own blocking, and then understanding how we see the character, rather than sometimes in theatre, it can be very much like, well, the person before did it that way, they moved on that line, they lifted up the jar with this, and it can feel quite robotic and programmed. But this feels really alive and fresh.
Oh, it sounds fabulous. And if you want to catch James and the rest of the cast in action in Jock Night, then all you need to do is head to our website and get your tickets. It's ilovemanchester.com/theatre. It runs at Hope Mill until the 31st of May. Now let's take a look what else is on at theatres across Greater Manchester this week. Kim Marsh is still rocking it in Abigail's party over at the Royal Exchange. She has taken on the role of the hostess with the mostess, Beverly Moss. It is the height of 70s suburbia, social class and ambition in Mike Leigh's tragi-comic masterpiece. Now, this has been set in Manchester rather than Essex and has got a stellar cast with, of course, Kim at the helm. There's lots of sexual tension as the party gets started, and the chaos quickly descends. It is a really epic modern classic at the Royal Exchange. I know audiences have loved it, and that's why it's been extended until the end of this week. It runs at the Exchange until Saturday. Now, if you fancy jumping to the left and stepping to the right, you can time warp all the way to the Palace Theatre for the Rocky Horror Show, because Australian superstar Jason Donovan has come to Manchester in Richard O'Brien's legendary rock and roll musical. He is starring as Frankenfurter, and of course, Brad and his fiancée Janet is there as well, because with a twist of fate, when their car breaks down outside a creepy mansion, they meet charismatic Dr. Frankenfurter. This is brilliant. There's lots of audience participation. You might feel underdressed if you don't dress up for this production. And it's got, of course, some great music and action in it as well, including Sweet Transvestite, Damn It, Janet, and of course, the pelvic thrusting, show stopping time warp. It runs at the Palace Theatre until the 31st of May. Staying with the horror theme, but maybe a little bit darker, over at the Octagon in Bolton is Dracula. Now, this opens on Wednesday and it runs until Saturday, the 24th of May. It's a powerful stage adaptation of the Bram Stoker Gothic classic. Really does embody the struggle to break taboos, resist temptation, and stop the unknown outside becoming the enemy within. If you want a little bit of chilling, then there is this in the bucket loads. As I say, it is at the Octagon until Saturday. Well, a great selection there if you fancy a trip to the theatre this week. And if you want to find out more information on theatre, then do head to our website, ilovemanchester.com/theatre. We've got loads of reviews, interviews, and you can book those all important tickets. Now, that's it for me this week on Spotlight on Stage. I'll be back with more next week. Until then, have a great week yourselves, and I will see you next Monday.